Stoicism, the ancient Greek philosophy that emphasizes virtue, reason, and resilience, has long been a subject of fascination and study. However, its intersection with the concept of mimetic desire, as proposed by the French philosopher René Girard, offers a profound and insightful perspective on the human condition. Mimetic desire, at its core, suggests that our desires are not purely our own, but rather are shaped by the desires of others. We often find ourselves wanting what others want, driven by an inherent need to imitate and emulate the behaviors and aspirations of those around us. This dynamic, Girard argued, is a fundamental aspect of human social and psychological development. Stoicism's emphasis on self-control, objectivity, and the pursuit of virtue provides a framework for navigating the complexities of mimetic desire. By cultivating a detached and rational approach to our impulses and inclinations, Stoics sought to transcend the trap of mimetic desire and achieve a higher state of being. Stoicism and the mastery of desire. Central to Stoic philosophy is the idea of eudaimonia, a state of flourishing and well-being achieved through the cultivation of virtue. Stoics believe that true happiness and fulfillment could only be found through the mastery of one's desires and emotions, rather than chasing the fleeting pleasures and material possessions that so often fuel mimetic desire. By embracing the Stoic principle of living according to nature, individuals can learn to recognize and resist the temptation to mimic the desires of others. This involves a deep understanding of one's own values, priorities, and inner landscape, allowing them to make conscious choices aligned with their true self, rather than succumbing to the siren call of mimetic impulses. The power of perspective, Stoicism and objectivity. Stoicism's emphasis on cultivating a rational and objective perspective is particularly relevant in the face of mimetic desire. By training the mind to step back and view situations from a more detached and impartial standpoint, individuals can better recognize the underlying mechanisms of mimetic desire at work. This ability to maintain a degree of emotional and cognitive distance from the pull of mimetic impulses empowers Stoics to make more informed and deliberate choices. Rather than being swept away by the tide of external influences, they can navigate the complexities of human desire with greater clarity and purpose. Virtue and the transcendence of mimetic desire. Ultimately, Stoicism's pursuit of virtue offers a pathway for transcending the limitations of mimetic desire. By aligning one's actions and decisions with the cultivation of virtues, such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, individuals can develop a sense of inner sovereignty and autonomy. Through this process of self-actualization, Stoics can break free from the cycle of mimetic desire, finding fulfillment and purpose in the realization of their own unique potential, rather than seeking validation or status through the imitation of others. Navigating the complexities of the mirrored self. The intersection of Stoicism and mimetic desire presents a rich and multifaceted exploration of the human experience. By embracing the principles of Stoic philosophy, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of the underlying forces that shape their desires and behaviors, empowering them to cultivate a more authentic and fulfilling existence. As we navigate the ever-changing landscape of the modern world, the wisdom of Stoicism and the insights of mimetic theory can serve as invaluable guides, helping us to navigate the complexities of the mirrored self and find the path to true self-actualization. Transcending the tyranny of comparison. Stoic principles for cultivating authentic desire. Cultivating authentic desire. Stoic wisdom for transcending comparative thinking. In the fast-paced, hyper-connected world we inhabit, it's all too easy to become entangled in the web of comparison. We find ourselves constantly measuring our achievements, possessions, and social status against those of our peers, family members, and even perfect strangers on social media. This obsession with comparison can lead to a deep sense of discontent as we struggle to find fulfillment in our own lives. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to the tyranny of comparative thinking. At the heart of Stoic principles lies the recognition that authentic desire, the longing for true happiness and meaning, can only be found within, rather than through external validation or the pursuit of material goods. Reclaiming autonomy, the Stoic approach to desire. Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius recognize that our desires are often shaped by societal norms and the expectations of others. They encourage the practice of separating our judgments and desires from external circumstances, cultivating an internal locus of control. As Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Stoics believe that by taking responsibility for our own thoughts and actions, we can free ourselves from the tyranny of comparison and instead focus on what is truly within our control, our own character and the pursuit of virtue. Cultivating contentment. Redefining success on your own terms. A key tenet of Stoicism is the recognition that true happiness and fulfillment come not from the accumulation of wealth, status, or possessions, but from within. Stoics encourage the practice of voluntary simplicity, where one consciously chooses to live with fewer material possessions and to find joy in the present moment. By redefining success in terms of inner peace, self-mastery, and the cultivation of virtuous traits such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, Stoics were able to transcend the constant need for external validation and comparative thinking. This shift in mindset allowed them to focus on what truly mattered, rather than being consumed by the constant pursuit of more. Embracing impermanence. Stoic insights on the nature of desire. Stoicism also offers profound insights on the inherently transient nature of desire and the objects of our longing. Recognizing that all things, including our own possessions and relationships, are ultimately impermanent, Stoics cultivated an attitude of detachment and acceptance. Rather than clinging to the idea of permanence or becoming distraught by the inevitable changes and losses in life, Stoics learned to embrace the fluid nature of existence. This allowed them to appreciate the fleeting beauty of the present moment and to find contentment in the simple act of being, rather than constantly striving for something more. Cultivating equanimity. Stoic practices for managing desire. To support the cultivation of authentic desire and the transcendence of comparative thinking, Stoics engaged in various practices and exercises. These included negative visualization, regularly contemplating the potential loss or absence of the things we value, in order to foster gratitude and appreciation for what we have. Voluntary discomfort, intentionally subjecting ourselves to mild forms of discomfort or deprivation, in order to cultivate resilience and to remind ourselves of the fragility of our material possessions. Memento mori, reflecting on the inevitability of death, in order to gain perspective on the impermanence of our desires and to focus on what truly matters. Through these practices, Stoics sought to develop a sense of equanimity, the ability to remain calm and centered in the face of life's ups and downs. By cultivating this inner stability, they were able to free themselves from the constant need for external validation and to focus on the pursuit of authentic, self-directed desire. The Stoic philosophy offers a powerful antidote to the tyranny of comparative thinking and the pursuit of inauthentic desire. By reclaiming autonomy, redefining success, embracing impermanence, and cultivating equanimity, we can transcend the debilitating effects of comparison and instead find fulfillment in the pursuit of virtue and the cultivation of our true, authentic selves. Mimesis and the paradox of individuality. Navigating the tensions in Stoic philosophy. Navigating the tensions in Stoic philosophy. Stoicism, the ancient Greek philosophy that emphasizes virtue, reason, and self-control, has long been celebrated for its practical wisdom and timeless insights. Yet, at the heart of Stoic thought lies a fundamental paradox: the tension between the individual and the collective. This tension is perhaps most strikingly manifested in the concept of mimetic desire, which suggests that our desires are often shaped and influenced by the actions and behaviors of those around us. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus recognized this paradox. acknowledging that while we should strive to be true to ourselves and our own values, we are inevitably shaped by the social and cultural forces that surround us. As he wrote, "It is not the things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things." In other words, it is not the external world that determines our happiness or well-being, but rather our own perceptions and beliefs about it. This perspective on the nature of desire and individuality is echoed in the work of the French philosopher René Girard, who developed the theory of mimetic desire. Girard argued that human desire is fundamentally imitative, with individuals often coveting the same objects or goals as those around them. This process of mimicry, Girard believed, is a key driver of social conflict and rivalry, as individuals compete for the same limited resources or status. The parallels between Stoicism and mimetic desire are striking. Both recognize the fundamental role that our social and cultural environments play in shaping our desires and self-conceptions. Stoicism, with its emphasis on virtue and self-control, offers a potential antidote to the pitfalls of mimetic desire, encouraging individuals to cultivate a sense of autonomy and self-determination, embracing individuality within the collective. Yet, the challenge lies in striking a balance between embracing one's individuality and acknowledging the inescapable influence of social forces. Stoicism reminds us that we cannot entirely escape the pull of mimetic desire, as we are inherently social beings. The task, then, is to navigate this tension with wisdom and equanimity. One way to do this, as suggested by the Stoics, is to focus on what is within our control, our own thoughts, beliefs, and actions, rather than fixating on the external world. By cultivating a deep sense of personal agency and self-awareness, individuals can begin to resist the temptation to simply mimic the desires and behaviors of others. At the same time, Stoicism recognizes the importance of social harmony and the need to balance individual interests with the greater good. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This suggests that while we cannot fully control the external world, we can shape our own experience and contribution to it, transcending the limitations of mimetic desire. By embracing the tension between individuality and collectivity, Stoicism offers a path towards a more fulfilling and authentic existence. Rather than succumbing to the limitations of mimetic desire, individuals can learn to transcend the narrow confines of their own ego and find meaning in their connection to the larger social and natural world. This process of transcendence is not always easy, as it requires a willingness to challenge one's own assumptions and biases. It may also involve a degree of humility, as individuals recognize their own role in perpetuating the cycles of mimetic desire and social competition. However, the rewards of this journey can be profound. By cultivating a deeper understanding of themselves and their place in the world, individuals can develop a greater sense of purpose, resilience, and compassion. They can learn to appreciate the diversity of human experience and find fulfillment in contributing to the collective well-being of their communities and the wider world. In the end, the paradox of individuality in Stoic philosophy is not one that can be easily resolved. It is a tension that must be navigated with care, wisdom, and a deep commitment to personal growth and social responsibility. By embracing this challenge, individuals can not only find greater inner peace and self-understanding, but also contribute to the ongoing evolution of a more just and harmonious society. Untangling the web of desire. Stoic strategies for freeing oneself from mimetic traps. Unveiling the roots of mimetic desire. Mimetic desire, a concept rooted in the philosophical perspectives of René Girard, posits that our desires are often not our own, but rather shaped by the desires of others. This phenomenon, where we unconsciously emulate the wants and aspirations of those around us, can lead to a web of envy, competition, and ultimately, internal conflict. In the realm of Stoicism, a philosophical tradition that emphasizes the cultivation of virtue, resilience, and equanimity, we can find powerful strategies to free ourselves from the trappings of mimetic desire. By understanding the underlying mechanisms of this psychological phenomenon and adopting Stoic practices, individuals can reclaim their autonomy and find contentment in a world increasingly driven by social comparison and external validation. Recognizing the dynamics of mimetic desire. At the heart of mimetic desire lies the notion that we do not simply desire objects or experiences, but rather the desire of others. We are drawn to what others covet, often without fully understanding the roots of our own yearning. This dynamic can create a self-perpetuating cycle of envy and competition as we strive to obtain what others possess, only to find ourselves unsatisfied and longing for the next object of desire. Stoicism encourages us to step back and examine the underlying assumptions and influences that shape our desires. By cultivating self-awareness and a keen understanding of our own motivations, we can begin to separate our authentic needs and goals from those that are merely reflections of the desires of others. Stoic strategies for transcending mimetic traps. The Stoic philosophical tradition offers a range of strategies to help individuals overcome the pitfalls of mimetic desire. One such approach is the practice of negative visualization, where one contemplates the potential loss or absence of the desired object or experience. This exercise can help reframe our perception of the object of desire, allowing us to recognize its impermanence and the potential for inner contentment irrespective of its possession. Another Stoic principle, the focus on what is within our control, can be particularly valuable in navigating the challenges of mimetic desire. By directing our attention and efforts towards the aspects of our lives that we can influence, such as our thoughts, actions, and responses, we can gradually free ourselves from the external pressures that often drive our desires. Additionally, the Stoic concept of eudaimonia, or the pursuit of a life well lived, emphasizes the importance of cultivating virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. By aligning our desires with these higher-order goals, we can transcend the fleeting and often superficial satisfactions that arise from mimetic desire. Cultivating contentment through Stoic practices. At the heart of Stoicism lies the idea of living in accordance with nature and accepting the inherent uncertainty and impermanence of the human experience. By embracing this perspective, individuals can develop a greater sense of equanimity and inner peace, which can serve as a bulwark against the seductive pull of mimetic desire. Practices such as mindfulness meditation, journaling, and the examination of one's own thoughts and emotions can help individuals gain deeper insight into the workings of their minds and the origins of their desires. By consistently engaging in these Stoic exercises, people can cultivate a greater sense of self-awareness, allowing them to make more conscious and purposeful choices in their lives. Ultimately, the wisdom of Stoicism can provide a powerful antidote to the pervasive influence of mimetic desire. By recognizing the dynamics at play, adopting Stoic strategies, and cultivating a deeper sense of contentment, individuals can free themselves from the traps of social comparison and external validation, and instead, focus on living a life aligned with their authentic values and aspirations. Towards a Stoic ethic of desire, reclaiming agency in an age of imitative consumption. Stoicism and the mastery of desire. In an age dominated by the relentless pull of consumerism and the constant pressure to conform, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to the malaise of imitative desire. At the heart of Stoic thought lies the recognition that true freedom and fulfillment lie not in the pursuit of external objects or social validation, but in the cultivation of inner strength, self-discipline, and a clear-eyed understanding of the nature of desire itself. Unmasking the mimetic trap. The French philosopher René Girard's concept of mimetic desire sheds light on the insidious mechanisms that underlie much of modern consumer culture. According to Girard, human beings do not desire things in a vacuum. Rather, our desires are fundamentally shaped by the desires of others. We covet the possessions, achievements, and lifestyles of those around us, not because of any inherent value in the objects themselves, but because we have unconsciously elevated them to the status of desirable models. This dynamic of imitative desire, Girard argues, lies at the root of much human conflict and social unrest. As we constantly strive to outdo one another, to acquire the latest trends and status symbols, we become trapped in a never-ending cycle of consumption and comparison, ultimately sacrificing our own agency and authenticity in the process. Stoic strategies for reclaiming desire. The Stoics, with their emphasis on personal responsibility, self-discipline, and the cultivation of virtue, offer a powerful antidote to the mimetic trap. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the idea that true happiness and fulfillment lie not in the pursuit of external goods, but in the cultivation of an internal locus of control. By cultivating a deep understanding of the nature of desire and the ephemeral nature of material possessions, Stoics sought to free themselves from the tyranny of social comparison and the endless cycle of acquisition and dissatisfaction. Through practices such as meditation, self-reflection, and the contemplation of one's own mortality, Stoics sought to develop a more detached and objective perspective on the world, allowing them to make conscious choices about their desires and behaviors, rather than being swept away by the whims of fashion or the expectations of others. The Stoic ideal of eudaimonia. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the concept of eudaimonia, a state of flourishing and well-being that transcends the pursuit of pleasure or the avoidance of pain. For the Stoics, eudaimonia was not about the accumulation of wealth, status, or material possessions, but rather the cultivation of virtue, wisdom, and a deep sense of inner harmony. By reframing desire as a natural, but ultimately transient, phenomenon, the Stoics sought to cultivate a more resilient and authentic form of agency. Rather than being buffeted about by the winds of social trends and the constant pressure to consume, Stoics aimed to develop a stable and self-sufficient sense of self, rooted in the recognition of their own inherent worth and the understanding that true fulfillment comes from within, towards a Stoic ethic of desire. In our modern age, as we find ourselves increasingly beholden to the dictates of consumerism and the ever-shifting currents of social media, the lessons of Stoicism offer a much-needed antidote. By reclaiming our agency, by cultivating a more detached and objective perspective on the nature of desire, we can begin to break free from the mimetic trap and rediscover a sense of authentic self-expression and fulfillment. Through the daily practice of Stoic virtues such as temperance, courage, justice, and wisdom, we can develop a more robust and resilient relationship with our desires, one that is not beholden to the whims of fashion or the expectations of others. In doing so, we can reclaim our agency, our authenticity, and our capacity to live with a deep sense of purpose and meaning, even amidst the constant noise and distractions of the modern world. Conclusion. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies a profound understanding of the human condition and the complex interplay between the self and the desires that shape our lives. In exploring the relationship between Stoicism and mimetic desire, we have uncovered a rich tapestry of insights that challenge us to reconsider the very foundations of our personal and social existence. The mirrored self, Stoicism, and the mechanics of mimetic desire serves as a crucial starting point, illuminating the ways in which our desires are often a reflection of the desires of others. Stoic thinkers recognize the power of this mirroring process, acknowledging that our sense of self is profoundly influenced by the gaze and aspirations of those around us. This insight underscores the need to cultivate a deeper understanding of the forces that shape our motivations and the pursuit of our goals. Transcending the tyranny of comparison. Stoic principles for cultivating authentic desire builds upon this foundation, offering a path towards a more authentic and self-directed existence. By embracing Stoic principles of self-sufficiency, inner tranquility, and the pursuit of virtue, individuals can overcome the tyranny of comparison and reclaim their agency in the face of mimetic pressures. This shift towards a more introspective and values-driven approach to desire holds the potential to liberate us from the endless cycle of seeking validation and status through the emulation of others. Mimesis and the paradox of individuality. Navigating the tensions in Stoic philosophy delves into the apparent tensions within Stoic thought, exploring the balance between the individual's pursuit of autonomy and the recognition of our inherent interconnectedness. Stoics acknowledge that the self is not an isolated entity, but rather a dynamic and relational construct shaped by the web of social influences that surround us. Navigating this paradox is crucial, as it allows us to cultivate a sense of individuality while also embracing our fundamental interdependence with the world around us. Untangling the web of desire. Stoic strategies for freeing oneself from mimetic traps offers practical guidance for individuals seeking to break free from the snares of mimetic desire. By cultivating a heightened awareness of the forces that shape our cravings and a willingness to challenge the status quo, we can begin to discern our authentic needs from the ephemeral and socially constructed desires that so often ensnare us. Stoic practices such as self-examination, detachment, and the cultivation of equanimity provide powerful tools for navigating the complexities of desire in an age of relentless social comparison and material excess. Towards a Stoic ethic of desire. Reclaiming agency in an age of imitative consumption culminates in a vision of a Stoic-inspired approach to desire that transcends the limitations of modern consumer culture. By embracing the Stoic ideals of virtue, moderation, and the prioritization of the common good, individuals can cultivate a more sustainable and fulfilling relationship with their desires. This ethic of desire challenges the prevailing narratives of status, acquisition, and the endless pursuit of novelty, offering a path towards a more harmonious and purposeful engagement with the world. In the end, the interplay between Stoicism and mimetic desire illuminates the profound complexities of the human experience. By delving into these insights, we are empowered to confront the disquieting realities of our own desires, to cultivate a deeper self-awareness, and to forge a more authentic and fulfilling existence. In doing so, we not only liberate ourselves from the tyranny of imitation, but also contribute to the collective well-being of a society grappling with the profound challenges of the modern age.